Hello and welcome back to Just Noise. Today I am joined by Maisi. Would you like to give a little introduction to yourself and tell the listeners who you are and a little bit about yourself?
Hello, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Maisi. I am a singer and a songwriter and I guess like DJ and producer. But I'm here to talk about an EP that I've got coming up because I'm releasing at the moment. And yeah, I make sort of like alternative pop music. It's kind of inspired by a lot of like hyper pop influences and also inspired a lot by people like, the 1975, Caroline Polachek, Charlie XCX, just that kind of world is my world. And so yeah, that's what I do.
Very nice. So I like to start each podcast episode just with a few silly questions for people to get to know you as a person a little bit better if they haven't come across you before. First question, are you a vanilla or a chocolate person?
Vanilla. I love, yeah, definitely like chocolate sometimes is just too,
It can go so wrong sometimes, I feel
yeah,
like.
it can,
Yeah.
it can. And I can't really have like something chocolatey without like some fruit or something else with it. So
Yeah.
like like I'm just, yeah, definitely vanilla. I love vanilla cupcakes, anything like that. That's for me.
What's your favourite type of weather?
Ooh, that is a great question. Um, I think it would be like fairly cold, but not rainy. Because I don't love the summer. I'm just like, I hate the
Yeah.
feeling of heat. I hate being sweaty. I hate like, oh, if you're on holiday, yeah, fine, that's lovely. But I hate like trying to work or whatever, and it's hot and gross. That is not for me. So I reckon if if I can walk around in a coat and be comfortable, that's like my ideal temperature and weather, but with
Yeah.
no rain, or like a little bit of rain. Yeah, but I think autumn is definitely like my favorite season in terms of the weather. Well, obviously, it rains quite a lot in autumn, but roughly, yeah, when it's
So
not
it's
raining.
probably now then, like
Yeah,
the
now
time of year, yeah.
I'm loving it right now. If I yeah, just being able to wear coats and jumpers, like
Mm,
I absolutely love it.
yeah. An app that you love?
An app that I love. Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. Um, Deliveroo, maybe.
I mean, that's a
I
great
love
answer.
I love
What are your
I love
go-tos on Deliveroo?
um I just love a takeaway. I love Nando's. I love my latest obsession is a place called Meat Liquor, which does like they do these like chips with like loaded fries basically, and it's so
Mm.
good. I definitely need to stop ordering delivery so much. But that is probably my favorite app. Like I go through phases of I'll delete it for like a few months and then I'll get it back and like go crazy and then I'll delete
It's
it.
when
Like
they
in my
send you that, like, text with the, like, £5 off
exactly
code, they get you back.
it's so bad. Exactly. That is literally it. But yeah, so probably delivery realistically, even though
Mm.
I need to stop.
And last one, your most recent exciting purchase?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I actually know what it is my latest exciting purchase is I bought some new DJ decks.
Very
Which is
exciting.
really exciting. I bought like a secondhand pair because they're like crazy
Mm.
expensive. And I basically found someone on Facebook Marketplace and I was like, I'm feeling a bit scared. Facebook Marketplace can be a bit dodgy sometimes, but I went and like it was fine. It was such a nice guy and it all worked out. And so yeah, definitely the DJ decks because now I've just been at home like DJing all the time and I've never had my own like proper pair. I go to like pirate studios and like use their DJ decks there, hire them out and stuff. So it's nice to have my own.
So cool. So I wanted to ask a little bit about your earliest memories of music. So when you were first introduced to like the music scene.
Wow, that's a great question. Well, I mean, I can remember like my earliest like times I remembered like being conscious of music and like liking music, and that was definitely Lily Allen. She was like the
Yeah.
first. Wow, music is great. Like it was her album, It's Not Me, It's You. I got that like as like a birthday present, and I absolutely loved that. So that's like the earliest thing I can remember in terms of music, like loving music. But then music industry, I think trying to think. Do you know what it probably is I think when I was like 14 or something, I did some like singing competition. It was called like I think it was called like Open Mic UK or something like that. And it was basically you would do rounds of it was just like it's sort of like what like X Factor is, but obviously like on a much, much smaller scale. And I did that and then I think through it I like won like some really cheap or free studio time, and so then I like recorded a couple of songs when I was like 14, 15. Like they weren't very good, and it was
Mm.
definitely a waste of the time because I didn't really know what I was doing. But that's like the first time I can remember like actual like something music industry esque, you know. Yeah.
And where did you sort of go from there? So what was it when you had the key conscious decision of actually I'm gonna start writing, start making music?
Well, from there, I like kept on like recording stuff, and I basically made like a little EP when I was maybe like 16 or 17, which is not anywhere anymore because it was not very good. But that was I like released that as like a 16-year-old, and that was like my earliest thing that I did. And then I basically went to a music uni and did like it was like a songwriting music degree. And from there, I kind of like started writing new stuff and working with new people. And I met like my manager, and I just sort of like started from there. And then that was also over lockdown as well. So that was like a really
Mm.
weird time. And that's kind of been it. Like since, yeah, I feel like from my time at uni up until now, it's kind of been just like a continuation of like the same thing and like developing music wise and trying to work out what to do and everything. So yeah, uni definitely helped. It was a weird experience over lockdown, but that definitely like inspired a lot of things. I met a lot of cool people and started like doing gigs and stuff. And then yeah, just kind of carried on and here I am still.
And you spoke a little bit about when we started some of your like inspirations. Who would you say are like some key people that artistically influence maybe what you create now?
I think like yeah, Charlie XCX is like the the biggest one, and I always feel funny talking about it at the moment because obviously she's like so popular right now.
Mm.
But I've been like a Charlie stan since I was like 13. Like I met her when I was like 15 at like a fan event. I've been like she's been my favorite artist like forever. I think like her earlier stuff like probably inspires me a bit more music wise. Like Brat I absolutely love, but I think earlier stuff is like the stuff that I like, absolutely love and I like love to make. And so that in terms of like the music really inspires me. And also yeah, the 1975 which I mentioned, like I absolutely love their music. I love their production. Like I think their production really really inspires me. And then lyrically I probably go back to Lily Allen because I love her lyrics and how honest they are. Um and just like how specific and British they are. Like I love how English she sounds. It's just
Yeah.
great. And I definitely took a lot of inspiration from that of like it's okay to like actually like yeah, sing in your accent and stuff. And yeah, I think those are definitely probably my top three. There's like loads of others that inspire me, but they're probably my like solid top three.
And with your writing, like where would you say the themes and topics that you write about, where do you tend to come across what you tend to write about?
Um, I think I kind of do a lot of different things. Like sometimes I will like write about something that I'm really feeling in the moment, and I do a lot of like I just have like a notes on my like a page on my notes app that just like I just anytime I think of something interesting I'll write it down so that when I go into like the studio and write I can just go and look through that. So there's just like if anyone ever looked at my notes it would just be like crazy. Like people would be like this literally makes no sense. So a lot of the time I'll just like go back on that list and like take inspiration for anything interesting there. And then so I do also really like to kind of just like sort of not like make up stories, but just like interpret things and like maybe write things from the perspective of other people or like from the perspective of like someone like in a TV show or film or something. Because like sometimes like my life is just boring and I have nothing interesting to write about. So
Yeah.
if nothing is happening there like in my life, then I'll just be like, oh, this is a cool character, or I'll be like, oh, one of my friends is going through something. Why don't I like write a song as if I'm them. Do you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So it's yeah, kind of like maybe like I probably do that like 50-50. Like it will be like actually something I'm feeling, or it will be like I'm trying to embody like someone else, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so with your EP, which is coming out on the 10th of October, You Could Be Something. Do you
Yeah.
want to talk about if we do a little breakdown for each song so we can just talk through what each song is about and maybe particular influences and styles that you had for each song? So if we start with the first song that you released, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that one, that's a song that I've had for like so long. I like have a really early version from probably like 4 years ago that just like sounds really different, and I think like lyrically it wasn't quite there yet, and like my voice sounds like so much younger. But I just revisited it last year and I was like, oh, I actually really really like this. And then it just kind of evolved and changed a bit, and then ended up how it ended up. Like the main thing is like there's like a sort of 20-second bit where I'm sort of just doing like a speaking monologue in it, and that was like totally different before, like the things I said in it, because like for example I said stuff about like, I don't know, like being vegan, and I'm not vegan anymore, and like so like a lot changed in that
Yeah.
song. But I remember like when I first came up with like the chorus melody, I like sung it into the notes, into like the voice memos app on my phone, and I like saved it as something like um melody that reminds me of the 1975 or something. So I was trying to like basically write like it doesn't actually sound like it, but I was like, there was this, I can't remember which 1975 song it was, but there was like they have just like great chorus writing, and I was trying to write like a chorus that was inspired by that, which can't compare to their writing, but like that was definitely like an inspiration for it originally, but I think it kind of morphed into like something different. But yeah, and it's a song that's just about like, about people pleasing and not really knowing who you are because you've ended up people pleasing so much, and the kind of maybe experiencing social anxiety. So depending on who you're in a room with, you're like a slightly different person, and you kind of mold yourself to different people, which I think I definitely do a lot less now, but maybe like 4 years ago when
Mm.
I first came up with it, I was like a massive people pleaser, and I'm still trying not to be, like, because I very much, that's still a big part of my personality, which I'm trying to work on. But I used to be a lot more of a people pleaser, and so that's where it came from. So it's funny revisiting it and like listening to the lyrics that I wrote like 3 or 4 years ago and being like, wow, I can't believe I actually used to feel like that. But so yeah, that's what that song's about.
And then your next song that you released, Am I My Prime? I think that's how I came across your music
Really
from, yeah, I think it was your spam TikTok was
nice.
like infiltrating my For You page. Do you want to talk a
That's
little
good.
bit
Okay,
about that? It's good
I'm glad
news.
it's working. Yeah, I literally post so much on that. Like I feel bad for
Yeah.
anyone that follows it because it's just like constant.
I think, yeah, I followed that way before I found any of your other social media
Oh
pages,
my
which
god,
was
I'm so sorry.
interesting. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad that it worked, and that, yeah, you found that song. Yeah, Am I on my prime? That is probably one of my absolute favorite songs I think that I've ever made. Like I just like, yeah, I absolutely love it. I think that I don't really know like where the inspiration actually came from for making that. I made it with like a brilliant producer called Johnny Parry, who I just think is great. And it was one of our like early sessions together, like our early writing sessions together. So I don't think we like knew each other super well, but when that started like coming together, I was like, oh, this is like sick, and I want to work with this guy lots. We basically just like listened to like loads and loads of music and just like took the bits that we liked from it. And I think the first thing that I came up with for it was, I think, the like talky bit that was like the TikTok sound that I
Mm.
used that kind of like comes in the song twice. And from then we just like built up on it. And I basically just wanted it to be like a song where the main thing I wanted to have just like a chorus that would just like, the production just like hit super hard, and it's just like a wall of sound. And just like to try and like summarize the craziness of just like feeling existential and what that feels like, but sonically, which I think we did, just because it's so crazy. Like the chorus production, there's so much going on, and it's so like heavy, really. So yeah, that's just about feeling existential and basically worrying that you're like wasting your prime years, but also then trying to acknowledge that there's actually no such thing as like your prime, because
Yeah.
you're always in it. Because if you're, you know what I mean, that's basically the message of it, is like it starts off like worrying that I'm wasting my prime, and then it's like, well, actually, what even is that? So it's supposed to be, yeah, because I definitely feel quite existential a lot of the time. And I think in music, it's like trying to be a musician, it's quite easy to feel existential, because you're like, what am I doing in my life? Like
Mm.
just like making music and trying to release it, it's just like sometimes it'd be really stressful. And so I think it was trying to just, that thing of which I think anyone could kind of relate to, because sometimes you're like, well, what am I doing with my life? It's just crazy. Then you just got to remember that things will always work out, and things happen for a reason. So yeah, that's one of my like favorite songs I think I've ever made.
And then your most recent release, Shut Up.
So Shut Up was That was a song that actually like happened really, really fast. I think I maybe finished making it like probably only like a month or 2 months before it came out. I was just one of my like best friends who has an artist project called The Truth. He's a producer, and so we just sort of made it together for a bit of fun. And I kind of wasn't even planning to release it. It was just like,
Mm.
this is fun. And then I was like, oh, actually, I think it fits really well with these other 3 songs that I finished a while ago. Like, I'm just going to put it out. And the other reason that I really wanted to put it out is because I started off, I put it in like my live set as like the first song that opens my live set. And I was like, oh, this works really well as an opener. And I was like, oh, I probably should actually as well put it out. Actually know it. So that actually was what came first, I think, that I like
Yeah.
thought, oh, this is great for like a live set. And I was like, oh, but it has to also come out. And yeah, that's kind of like, that song was like really a funny one to write, because I basically just like turned on the mic and just like went for it, like with not really much in my brain at all. And then that kind of just ended up being the song. And I didn't really change that many lyrics from like the weird rambling that I started off with. And so like it kind of in a lot of ways doesn't really make sense, but like to me it makes sense. But I think it's just a bit of a crazy song. And yeah, that's definitely more on the like hyper pop side. I think like across the EP it kind of jumps between more like just alternative pop and then like going more into hyper pop. And that's like definitely the more hyper poppy one. And so yeah, it's just like a sort of attitudey, like fun, and supposed to be not very serious. And just like to get people like dancing at the start of a set was the aim of it, really. So yeah, that one's shut up. But yeah, I really like the one. It's just like a fun, crazy one.
Yeah. And then a final song that will be coming out a week today from when we post this podcast, Try. Do you want to talk a little bit about that one?
Yeah, definitely. That is like, I think that's probably on par with Am I in My Prime in terms of like how much I like, how proud I am of those songs. I mean, I'm proud of them all, but those two, like, I think they also fit really well together. But Try is a song that's about basically looking at someone who you care a lot about and wishing that they would just try harder because they're wasting their potential. Which I think, it's not about anyone in particular, but it's just about a lot of people that I can think of. Because I think there's so many people out there who you look at and you're like, wow, you could be so brilliant, and you are so brilliant, but you just need to like try a little bit harder and push yourself more, and then you'll be spectacular. It's basically the message. And it's supposed to be like, we all have down days and we all feel rubbish, but we've got to all keep going, and it will be okay. And that you can be something special. So I wanted, because I think often I like write quite like doomy songs of like, yeah, existential. And so it's just got a little bit of that, but also I wanted to like have the like hopefulness in it. And it's a bit slower, and it's more, I actually thought like it was like a bit slower and like not very dancey, because all of the others are like a bit like, make you want to move a little bit. But I played it at a show a few weeks ago, and people were really dancing, and I was like, that's surprising. Like I was like, in my head I was like, slow song, no one's going to dance. And I was like, oh, people actually like seem to like it. So yeah, that one's just a kind of supposed to be a positive, like, reminder that you just got to keep going. And I think I wanted to release it now because it's sort of going into the time of like, even though I love it, like the weather's getting colder and the days are getting shorter, and that is very easy to makes people feel down and less motivated. So I want it to be like going into the autumn and the colder months, a song to remind you that like you just got to keep going and things will be okay. Is basically the message of that one.
And with the title of the EP, was that something that came quite naturally to you, or was it something that you thought about a lot? Like, how did you create that?
Well, it's a line in Try. So the song Try opens with that line and it finishes with that line as well. And I think originally I was thinking of calling Try that.
Mm.
Um, and then I decided on Try, and then I was like, oh, but I really like that saying, because I think it's a cool saying. So I was like, oh, I can just name the whole thing that, because I think that also sums up a lot of the song, all the other songs really, of like the kind of existential dread feelings and sort of wondering what you're going to do with your life and what you're going to be, and struggling with all those kind of inner, all that inner turmoil that comes with like growing up and becoming an adult. And I think it kind of just it obviously came from Try, but I think it fits the other 3 songs pretty well. So I was like, oh, I like how that sounds. I liked how it looked as well, like on paper or on like a phone. Do you know what I mean? I liked how
Yeah.
it like, yeah, looked. But yeah, that's where that came from.
Would you say, like, overall, the message that you're trying to convey is very much summed up within Try, like with the EP then?
Yeah, I think so actually, because I think it's the thing of like that you like it's hard growing up and like becoming an adult and going into the adult world, and there's like the world is just so like crazy right now that it's so easy to lose motivation and just start feeling down, and which definitely like I touch on in like am I in my prime and IDK, and I guess Shut Up as well, because it just sort of lists a lot of all the craziness that's in the world, but then to be like realistically you just got to keep going, and I hope that everything happens for the best and it's all going to work out. So yeah, I think that's why I wanted that to be the last song that comes out, because I think hopefully it summarizes all of them and just like my general um existential attitude, which I think has always been in my music since I like started. So
Yeah.
yeah, that sums them all up.
I think you very much have that attitude sort of come across in your other projects that you do as well. Of very much, you seem to be quite a grafter, creating like your own spaces in music. Obviously, you have your disco night and Loud London. Do you want to start talking to me a little bit about why you started your disco night and sort of the importance of that to you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I so basically, I actually started it like literally exactly a year ago almost. I think the first one was like right at the start of October last year, so it'll roughly be almost exactly. And for that, what actually came from is that I released an EP last year and I wanted to do like a little release party. So I started off to planning a party, and then I was like, oh, but what if this became like its own thing and it became a community just for me and my friends, just like have fun. And so that's literally how it started. There was no real plans. We just did the first one and I felt like it went really well. And I basically did a TikTok about it, and the TikTok did all right. And so then it like sold out really quick. And I was like, oh, this seems like it's something people actually want. And something that I've always like, if ever I'm running events or communities, whatever, I just want places to feel safe and like welcoming and
Mm.
welcoming to everyone. So I think my like, grievance with like the clubbing scene and that kind of underground scene is like that a lot of the time people put like things looking cool and appearing cool above actually it being enjoyable and safe and like a nice community thing. And I am just not about that. Like I love like a home comfort. I love feeling safe and like nice and happy, and I'm not that fussed about things being cool. So it was always just like, come along, doesn't matter who you are, whatever, just like come along and be safe, everyone's friendly, and that's the main thing. And it basically just like went from there, and we did a few more of the club nights, and then got to like go to Trap Festival and like take over a stage there, which I
Mm.
absolutely loved. And I think my favorite thing about it is it's just me and like a rotation of like 7 or 8 or 9 of like some of my closest friends, and we all have like basically learnt to DJ for this. Well, not no, like maybe like half of us have like learnt to
Mm.
DJ through this. There are like some really sick, legit DJs. But it's just like the main thing is just that it's like it's fun, and we just want everyone who comes to have a good time and not worry about like looking cool or anything. Just to literally just have a night out where you enjoy yourself, because I don't think that happens enough, really. Um,
Yeah.
and so yeah, that was kind of how that ended up happening, but I didn't plan it or anything really. It just like became its own
Happened.
thing. Yeah, exactly. And I love it because it's just like me and my friends just like having a laugh, and I feel like I'm super grateful that it's still kind of a thing after a year, and I'm still going with it. So yeah, that's the
Yeah.
story of the school disco.
Very cool. And if you want to talk a little bit about Loud London, explain what that is, how that started.
I mean, Loud London is, I guess it's a similar sort of thing. Is that is a lot older. We started that like, I don't know now. I think maybe it's even like 3 years ago, maybe. Um, I started it with an artist called Coop de Cat, who I just met over Instagram, and it basically that again is a similar thing, that it just started with a group chat of just like a few of our friends, and it just organically turned into what it is now. And I think that Loud London is an interesting thing because I think that we never truly knew, or no one really knew like what it actually is. And like when it started, we'd get loads of messages like, what actually is this? And like get label people going like, what actually is this? And they were thinking like, can we take advantage of this? And like
Mm.
everyone was kind of like, what actually is it? And when we were like, oh, we don't know, like it's just, it is what it is. It's just become a thing. And we'd sort of, that we've done like a lot of stuff with it. Like it's been a lot of like parties, a lot of like networking events. We've done quite a lot of open mics, which are like one of my favorite thing about it, because we do that in London for free, and like so many people come and just like share their music, and I absolutely love it. And yeah, the main thing is that we have like a group chat. We have one on Instagram and one on WhatsApp, and it's just for like people in the industry, people like female and non-binary musicians in London to just like chat and get to know each other. And yeah, I think that's an interesting one, because I don't know, I don't know where it's going to go, or like what the plan is with it, but it just sort of exists. And the
Yeah.
main thing about it is the community, and as long as like that exists, then I'm very happy with that. But yeah, that just again as well just kind of came to be, really.
And what's like one thing that you think you've like taken away from having that space, maybe?
I think it is the importance of just like having people around you when you're doing music, and how useful it is to be able to ask people questions about the industry that are in the same position as you. Because there's been a lot of times when like people would put something in the group chat to do with the industry, whether it's that they've gotten like a deal or like something weird's happened to them or whatever, and like to have the voices of so many people in a similar space being able to reassure you or give their opinions or whatever was just so valuable. And it just made me realize that the most important thing for like up and coming artists is just to talk to each other, so that
Mm.
no one gets scammed, no one's ends up in bad positions or whatever. And just to the community between artists is just like the most important thing, for anyone entering the industry, and even like bigger artists it's really important. um and yeah, just to like make friends and not see anyone as your competition, but see them as like your peers, and you know, take inspiration from them and advice from them, and just that I think is probably the most important thing about it, really.
Yeah, I guess everyone has a first time doing everything, so I suppose
Yeah,
having that
exactly.
network to go, is this right? Should this be happening? How it is happening is probably
Exactly.
invaluable, I imagine.
Yeah, and a lot of
Um,
like, should this be happening? And we're like, no, it
no,
shouldn't.
usually
Straight
the
away.
answer is no.
Yes.
What would you say your favorite part of what you do is? Very big question, but
My God, that is a big question. Um, I think right now it's probably um a a competition between playing live and like creating the music and the content, probably.
Mm.
Which that's still quite broad, but um but basically I think it might probably be playing live, because
Yeah.
that's really interesting for me, because like I used to hate playing live. Like when I first started music, that was like my least favorite bit, and I was like, I don't actually like this at all. Like the anxiety I get before a gig, and it's just like I hated it. And then just like by doing more and more, I just like slowly got more and more confident. And I have a band now of like me and three of my like really good friends, which is lovely. And so that just like makes the whole experience so much nicer.
Mm.
And that is probably that at the moment, just because I've the way that my perspective has changed on it. It's just like I'm really pleased that I've like started to enjoy it a lot more. But then the other thing is like I actually just love making, like I love like editing stuff and like making videos and content, which like I think is like, so many artists like hate making content, and I
Yes.
absolutely,
Blessing to like that.
yeah, no, totally. And like I'm like, yeah, I so 100% get that, because sometimes I go into a mode where I hate it, but I just like I love video editing, and I do a lot of that on the side for like other people.
Mm.
And like I really like filming stuff and taking pictures and everything. So that's probably it as well. And then obviously making the music is really fun, but I haven't been doing that as much recently, because I like finished this EP, and I've got a load of songs that I finished for next year. So I'm planning to like do a bit more of that like towards the end of the year. But at the moment I'm very much in like a gigging and content making headspace. So that's
Yeah.
probably what's like at the top right now.
And you have your support with May Miller. Are you excited for that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so excited for that. That's in like 5 days, I think, which like honestly, like I'm so excited, because I've literally loved her since I was like a teenager, and I went to like her like second ever headline show in 2019. And I'm like genuinely just like think she's like the coolest girl. And
Mm.
so yeah, literally like it's a bit of a pinch me moment of that I get to support her. So yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing for that.
And do you have any? I feel like people either have such a solid answer for this or they have no clue, but like any dream venues, dream supports, is there anything that you'd really aiming to do?
I would love to play one day a show at Scala in London. It's just I've done a couple of support slots there
Mm.
before, but it's just like one of my favorite venues. It's like it's not even like it's not huge. Like I
Yeah.
there's not even that much of me that's like, oh, I'd love to play like a stadium, whatever, because like that sounds terrifying. But like just I've always thought that Scala is just like a really cool venue, and I've seen so many cool bands and acts there that like, and I just something. But I love like I don't know, have you been there before to
No,
Scala?
I haven't.
It's really cool because it's like I just love a venue where like so it's like stage there and then the floor down there and then it kind of like steps going up.
That's
Do
the
you know what I
best
mean?
type of venue.
It's
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I just think like stuff like that, like venues like that are just the best because you can like see everyone and everyone can see.
Yeah.
So
You
I
don't know
just
why they're all not like that. Is what you think every time I go somewhere like that. Yeah.
I know, it's like, why would you not make it like that? But so
Yeah.
not really for any reason. I've just always loved that venue. So maybe that probably that one day would be like a dream to do like a headline show there one day. But
Mm.
honestly, I'll just take whatever venue I can get. I'll do I'll gig anywhere really.
And again, a really open one, but what would you say is like a notable achievement for you so far? Something like really cool that you like to, that you're really proud of that you've accomplished so far in your career.
Oh my God, that's such
It
a
doesn't
hard
even
one.
have to be like, like a tangible, like a particular thing that you did, but even like a personal sort of growth
Just more general.
moment.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can definitely. What came to mind when you said that is just the fact that I learnt to DJ, I think, because I think
Mm.
learning to DJ kind of changed a lot of things for me of like things I could do and like I wouldn't have done like the club night without that and I've ended up DJing at like some cool places and that I totally have to thank a friend of mine called Tom who is like a sit DJ and he basically has a club night where he would do a thing where he would teach people who've never DJed before to like DJ and then he'd give them their first paid set at his club night. And so, but I had literally never had any desire to DJ before. And he was just like to me, like, can I teach you? And I was like, yeah, definitely. And but I would never ever have done it if it wasn't for him. And like now I've ended up doing like some cool things related to DJing. So I think just the fact that one, very grateful that he asked me, and two, I was glad that I had the confidence to like say yes and actually try and do it. Because I think I easily could have been like, no, choose someone else. I'm too scared or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think just that, because that was maybe like a year and a half ago that I did that first gig maybe. And so I think just like that definitely like changed the trajectory in a small way, but like of just like things I ended up doing. And yeah, because I literally had never thought about it before until he asked me. And so yeah, I think probably just yeah, getting into the DJ world
Mm.
more is like probably one of
Yeah.
those things.
And what's something that you would say is it can either be a specific struggle to you or like an industry struggle that's something you think should really be like highlighted at the moment?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, hmm. I think something that's really interesting, and I don't even know if this is like the right kind of thing, but I think it's interesting how um uncertain like the music industry is right now in terms of like TikTok
Right.
because for a while it was like, oh, TikTok's a thing, it's working, like this is where loads of songs are going viral, we're discovering loads of artists. But I think because there's been a bit of a oversaturation of artists using
Mm.
TikTok, it now doesn't have the power that it used to. And I think that we went away from like a traditional kind of like label model of major label like invested in an artist and then that's how they make it, whatever. And then we went into the TikTok thing of like we don't need a label because artists doing it themselves on TikTok. But I think it's interesting because I think we're now going away from that because TikTok is holding less power because of the oversaturation and because so many artists are posting on it and because the algorithms changed and there's more, opportunities to do like paid ads. So then like, obviously it's a bit of like a conspiracy, but maybe they push your stuff less. So then you pay for ads,
Mm.
you're like, but, um, so I think that that's interesting. I think it's interesting that like that's changed, but also the fact that there's not a single person out there that knows where it's going next.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think
so
anyone I think an algorithm is a concept that's been made up at this
yeah,
point.
exactly. Like, no one can predict it, like, what's gonna
Mm,
change. Like, I think that, like, there's almost got to be something new that happens soon, like, whether it's a new app or, like, a change in the algorithm. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Something that, like, shakes things up, because I think it's just we're at a weird kind of, like, no man's land period of, like, nothing's actually working in the way it used to, and, like, fewer people are breaking and, like, getting out, or, like, emerging stuff. I think just the music industry is a weird time. Sorry, I don't
yeah.
even know if it really answers the
No,
question.
it's interesting. I think it's interesting what you said as well about like major labels and people feeling like they don't, need to sign with major
Mhm.
labels because often people feel like they lack that creative control when they're with, a bigger label as opposed to like an indie label. So no, I definitely
Mhm.
think it's interesting
Yeah,
point to
exactly,
bring up. Yeah.
and also I think a lot of the time, like, labels, you would sign to a label, like, in the years that TikTok was, like, a really big thing, and then
Mm.
they'd just be like, "Okay, our advice is you post on TikTok, and we're not gonna spend any money, just post on
Yeah.
TikTok."
No
And it's like,
investment in
then
you.
what's the point in that? Yeah, exactly, and then
Yeah.
it's like, then you shouldn't have signed it, 'cause then because you've already got TikTok if you're an independent artist,
Yeah.
but do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's just confusing because that's then working less now, so what are labels doing? And they don't even know, so I think it's just a, yeah, weird time in the music industry for, like,
No,
up
for sure.
artists.
Thank you so much for chatting. Do you want to give a little shout out to your socials where people can find you, and remind everyone to stream your EP when it comes out?
Yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to chat to you because I've been following you for a while, and I think that you're sick and
Thank you so
love what you
much.
do. So thank you for having me. My name's Maisie, and my Instagram is at Maisi, and it's without the E, so Maisi. And my Spotify is just Maisie, and then I'm sure you'll find everything else from there. And yeah, my EP is out on the 10th of October. And if you're listening to this before it's out, then you can pre-save it if you go click the link in my bio, or if you go straight to my Spotify page, there's a link to pre-save it there. And so when it's out, please give it a listen, and I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, thank you for having me. It's been absolutely
Yeah,
lovely to
thank
chat.
you so much for speaking.